August 480 BCE, the Pass of Thermopylae, central Greece. Picture this. You're standing inside a narrow corridor of rock and sea. On your left, the cliffs of Mount Kallidromos, rising so steep a man cannot climb them without knowing the path. On your right, the Malian Gulf, close enough to smell. And ahead of you, the road north. That road is barely 15 meters wide at its narrowest point. 15 meters. The width of a small house. Now look east along that road. The dust arrives before the army does. Then the sound. A low, rolling thunder that builds from... Then they come. Cavalry first. Then infantry. Then more infantry. Then more. Wave after wave after wave, stretching back so far the column disappears beyond the horizon. The Persian Empire has arrived. Xerxes, king of kings, son of Darius, ruler of the largest empire the world has ever seen, has brought everything. Ancient sources place the Persian force at over 1 million men. Modern historians put the number between 200,000 and 300,000. Either way, it is a force so vast it takes days to fully pass a single point on the road. Now look behind you. 7,000 Greeks, drawn from a dozen city-states that have spent generations fighting each other. At their core, 300 Spartans, hand-picked by their king. Every one of them a father. That detail matters. And at the front of that line stands Leonidas, king of Sparta. He is not here by accident. He is not here because he was ordered to come. He is here because he already knows how this ends. And he came anyway. Now watch what happens. For 3 days, 7,000 Greeks will hold that 15-meter pass against the largest army ever assembled in the ancient world. They will kill tens of thousands of Persian soldiers. They will humiliate a god-king in front of his entire empire. And when Betrayal finally opens the mountains, the 300 will not run. They will turn around, face the full weight of Persia, and fight until there is nothing left to fight with. By the end of this video, you will understand why Thermopylae was not a defeat. It was the most expensive purchase in the history of warfare. And Leonidas, 10 years, 490 BCE, the Battle of Marathon, a Greek force, mostly Athenian, defeated a Persian army on an open plain and sent them back across the Aegean in shock. For Persia, it was humiliating. For Greece, it was intoxicating. But the Greeks made a mistake. They believed it was over. It wasn't. Back in Susa, Darius, the Persian king, immediately began preparing a second invasion, larger, more deliberate, more total. Then Darius died. His son Xerxes inherited the throne and the obsession. For 4 years, Xerxes built an army unlike anything the ancient world had produced. Bridges were constructed across the Hellespont, a strait nearly 1 mile wide, using hundreds of ships lashed together so the army could march from Asia into Europe on foot. A canal was dug through the Mount Athos Peninsula to avoid the storm that had wrecked an earlier Persian fleet. Supply depots were established along the entire route months in advance. This was not a raid. This was an extinction campaign. Word reached Greece in 481 BCE. Xerxes is coming. With everything. The Greek city-states faced a choice that exposed every crack in their world. Thebes chose to submit. Argos stayed neutral. Several northern cities quietly sent earth and water to Persia, the ancient symbol of surrender, before the army had even crossed into Europe. Only 31 city-states chose to resist. 31 out of hundreds. They called themselves the Hellenic League, and they immediately began arguing. The Peloponnesians wanted to build a wall across the Isthmus of Corinth and defend from the south. The Athenians, whose city lay north of the Isthmus, pointed out what that strategy actually meant. It meant abandoning Athens. It meant abandoning every city in central and northern Greece. It meant handing Xerxes half the country before the first battle had been fought. A compromise emerged. They would meet the Persians at a choke point, a place where the size of the invading army meant nothing. a place where 15 meters of road was worth more than 300,000 soldiers. Thermopylae, the hot gates, named for the sulfur springs that ran nearby. The plan was to hold the pass long enough for the Greek fleet, positioned nearby at Artemisium, to engage and weaken the Persian navy. Land and sea together. If the pass held and the fleet held, Persia's advance would stall. If either failed, Greece would fall. The army needed a commander. Sparta was the obvious choice. On the battlefield, no city-state in Greece commanded their respect, their discipline, or their reputation. Sparta's king at the time was Leonidas. He was in his late 50s, a veteran, a man who had survived Sparta's brutal system from childhood. The agoge, the training regimen that stripped boys of everything soft and rebuilt them as soldiers. Leonidas understood what Thermopylae really was, not a defensive position, not a battle he expected to win. A delay, a speed bump built from human bodies. Ancient sources record that before he left Sparta, the oracle at Delphi delivered a prophecy. Either Sparta falls, or a Spartan king dies. Leonidas chose the second option without hesitation. He selected his 300 personally. Not the strongest, not the youngest, the ones who already had sons. Men whose bloodlines would continue. Men whose deaths would not erase a family from the earth. That selection tells you everything about how clearly Leonidas understood what he was marching into. Late summer, 480 B.C.E. Leonidas arrived at Thermopylae ahead of the Persian army. He immediately ordered the Phocians, local Greeks who knew the terrain, to repair an ancient wall that had once blocked the pass, the Middle Gate, a defensive position across the narrowest section of the road. Behind the wall, 7,000 Greeks took their positions, Spartans at the core. Alongside them, Thespians, Thebans, Arcadians, Corinthians, and others. Each contingent brought what they had. Together they formed a shield wall that stretched from cliff face to sea, 15 meters wide. Now look at what was coming toward them. Xerxes had organized his army into ethnic contingents, each fighting in their own style. Medes and Elamites formed the early assault waves, experienced infantry, disciplined, well-armed. Behind them came soldiers from every corner of the empire, Ethiopians in lion skins, Indians in cotton armor, Bactrians carrying cane bows, Arabians in flowing robes, Carians, Lydians, Cilicians, Armenians. Dozens of peoples marched under the Persian banner, held together by imperial command and the promise of plunder. And behind all of them, the Immortals. 10,000 of them. Persia's elite infantry, named because their numbers never changed. Every fallen soldier was immediately replaced, so the unit appeared to be immortal. They carried wicker shields, short spears, and iron discipline. They had never been broken in battle. They were Xerxes' guarantee, his final answer to any problem on the battlefield. Xerxes arrived at the pass and camped. He looked at the narrow road. He looked at the Greek line, and he waited 4 days. Ancient sources say he could not believe the Greeks intended to hold. He sent scouts forward. They reported back. The Spartans at the wall were exercising, combing their hair, moving without urgency, as if nothing unusual was happening. Xerxes summoned Demaratus, a former Spartan king living in Persian exile. "What are they doing?" Demaratus answered him plainly. "They are preparing to fight, and when Spartans comb their hair, it means they intend to die." Xerxes laughed. He sent an envoy to the Greek line with a final offer. "Lay down your weapons, walk away." Leonidas sent back 2 words. "Come take them." Day 1. Xerxes ran out of patience. He sent the Medes forward first. Wave after wave of infantry funneled into the pass and were ground down against the Spartan phalanx. What the Persians did not understand, could not understand until they were inside it, was what the terrain did to their advantage. Outside the pass, 300,000 men. Inside the pass, room for perhaps a few hundred to fight at once. The Greeks rotated their contingents, fresh troops cycling in as others stepped back to recover. The Persians had no such option. They fed men into the narrowing, and the narrowing swallowed them. Shields locked across 15 meters of road, 8-foot spears driving forward in coordinated thrusts. Men falling, more coming, more falling. By evening, the Medes had taken catastrophic losses and gained nothing. Xerxes threw in the Immortals. Even they could not break through. The phalanx held. The tactic the Greeks used was not simply courage. It was engineering, the hoplite phalanx. Shields overlapping, spears extended, created a wall of bronze and iron that cavalry could not charge, archers could not easily penetrate, and infantry could not push through without losing cohesion. In open ground, the Persians could have swept around it. In the pass, there was no around. There was only through. And through was a killing ground. Day 1 ended with thousands of Persian dead. 0 ground gained. Day 2. Xerxes tried variations. Archers first, blanketing the pass with arrows. The Greeks locked shields overhead, the tortoise formation, and let the volley pass. Then infantry again. Different units this time. Same result. The Greeks rotated. The pass held. That evening in the Persian camp, the mood had shifted. This was no longer a quick march through a narrow gap. This was a siege with no walls to breach. The Spartans had turned geography into a fortress, and geography did not get tired. That night, a man came to the Persian camp. His name was Ephialtes, a local Greek from the surrounding region. He told Xerxes he knew a path, a mountain trail called the Anopeia Path. It wound up through the mountains behind the cliffs and came out south of the Greek position. Behind the wall, behind the Spartans. Xerxes listened. He sent the Immortals into the mountains that night under the cover of darkness. Leonidas had known the path existed. He had posted the Phocians to guard it. But the Phocians, when they heard the Immortals moving through the pre-dawn darkness, pulled back to higher ground to defend themselves. The path was open. By dawn on day 3, the Greeks holding the pass began receiving reports. The mountains are compromised. The Immortals are coming down behind them. Leonidas called his commanders together. The coalition was given a choice. Leave now. March south before the encirclement closes. Survive to fight another day. Or stay. Most of the Greek contingents left. Some accounts suggest Leonidas ordered them to go. He needed them alive. He needed them to carry what happened here back to the cities that were still deciding whether to fight. The Thespians refused to leave. 700 of them stayed, not because they were ordered to, but because the Persians had already promised to destroy their city regardless. If Thespiae was going to burn, they would choose where they died. A small contingent of Thebans was also held, accounts suggest against their will, as hostages. In the end, approximately 1,400 men remained at the pass. The 300 Spartans at their center. Leonidas formed them up. This was no longer a defensive action. There was no defense left to hold, so he did something that no military logic can fully explain. He ordered an advance. Forward. Out from behind the wall. Into the open pass. Toward the Persian army. The last stand of the 300 was not a last stand in place. It was a charge. They pushed forward into the Persian mass, fighting with a fury that even ancient Persian sources acknowledged. Leonidas was killed early in the fighting. His men formed a circle around his body and fought to hold it. 4 times the Persians charged to take it. 4 times they were driven back. When their spears broke, the Spartans fought with swords. When their swords broke, they fought with hands and teeth. The Immortals coming down from the mountain path arrived and completed the encirclement. And still the Spartans did not break. They died facing forward, every one of them. Xerxes, furious at the cost, furious at the defiance, ordered Leonidas's body beheaded and crucified. It was the only revenge available to an empire that had just spent 2 days and thousands of soldiers killing 300 men. The pass was open. The road to Athens lay ahead. Within weeks, Xerxes would march south, occupy Athens, and burn the Acropolis to the ground. By every visible measure, Thermopylae was a Persian victory. But measure it differently. Measure it in time. The delay at the pass gave the Greek fleet time to engage the Persian navy at Artemisium, weakening it, studying it, learning how it moved. It gave Themistocles time to complete the evacuation of Athens. It gave the Greek alliance time to regroup, consolidate, and make a decision. Fight at sea or surrender. They chose to fight. At Salamis, weeks after Thermopylae, 370 Greek ships destroyed the largest fleet on earth in a single afternoon. That victory, which changed the entire war, was only possible because Greece had not already collapsed. And Greece had not already collapsed because 1,400 men had stood in a 15-meter pass and refused to move for 3 days. But something else happened at Thermopylae. Something that cannot be measured in days or ships or strategic calculations. When word spread across Greece of what the 300 had done, something shifted. Persia was not a force of nature. It was an army. Armies could be beaten. The cities that had been wavering reconsidered. The soldiers who had been afraid remembered what fear was supposed to feel like. And across the Greek world in the weeks after Thermopylae, the question changed. It stopped being, can we survive this? It became, how do we win? A monument was later placed at the pass. A simple stone epitaph written by the poet Simonides. It read, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. No boast, no claim of victory. Only the fact of the thing. They were given an order. Hold the pass. They held it until there was no one left to hold it. Leonidas did not lose at Thermopylae. He spent himself deliberately, precisely, completely, to buy Greece the one thing it needed more than soldiers, time. And with that time, Greece survived. Xerxes burned Athens, but Athens was already empty. The people were gone. The fleet was waiting. And the war, the real war, was about to begin. Persia still had its army, still had 300,000 soldiers on Greek, still had a general named Mardonius who believed the land campaign could finish what the sea battle had not. One final confrontation remained. Not at a narrow pass, not at sea. On an open plain near a city most people have never heard of, Plataea, where the full weight of Persia met a united Greek army for the last time. Watch the Battle of Plataea next.